Welcome back, everybody. Ed Cox with Magnolia on Money for your weekly economic market update. So today, I wanted to briefly go over what's going on in the markets, and then I wanted to dive into what's happening in the labor market in the U.S. and talk about how that's affecting business and wages and that sort of thing. And I think it's very important for us to understand where we are there and how that kind of ties into inflationary periods and what we typically see during recessions and how these numbers are affected during recession. So S&P 500, it's Wednesday around lunchtime right now that I'm cutting the video. S&P's down about 16.5% year to date. So still trying to find a floor here of trying to find its footing. But the S&P or that's our U.S. stock kind of benchmark that we use here in the office is still struggling. But the interesting part is that the bond market, the U.S. bond market, aggregate bond market is down about 10%, a little over 10% as well. So, both sides of most portfolios have suffered this year. Now, if you listen to the previous episodes, I mean, we've gone real short term in our portfolios with you guys. So we're not seeing that downturn in the bond market that's overall, but the overall bond market is down 10%. So when you see the stocks and bonds down together, those times don't come about often. So it's kind of like a lot of people are saying, Ed, there's no place to hide, and then that's what they mean. There's, if we were in bonds, we're down. If we were in stocks, we're down. In generally speaking, so we continue to monitor that and take information as it comes. And part of that information that has been coming through is the labor market, which points towards the Fed continually raising rates because the job market, labor market is kind of on fire this year. So I'm going to switch over, let you look at my screen, and let's look at what's going on here. So, if you look at, there's now 11.5 million job openings, which is a record. That's about twice as many as the number of people looking for jobs. So you can see here. So these are just to, kind of go over the graph here we're looking at. These are openings and unemployed workers. So you can see the little key here. These are job openings, unemployed workers on those different lines. And you have recessionary periods here. So typically, if you think about it, during recessions, unemployment goes up and job openings go down. All right, that makes sense. Just like it was in 2020, we had that little short recession there. Unemployment went through the roof and job openings went down. So we find ourselves now in a position where there's more job openings than unemployed people. So, layoffs are at low levels as companies don't want to let, workers go for fear that they may not find replacement, when demand picks up. And finally, kind of a recent survey by the National Federation of Independent Business finds that firms have never had such a tough time finding workers, which is kind of what you see here when the supply demand is inverted there. But the increased demand for these workers, is coming at a time when there's a lack of also qualified candidates, which is putting pressure on wages. And this is a concern that the Fed is thinking about why they continue to raise rates and try to get inflation in check. The next part of this that's really, really interesting is the level of payrolls where people are quitting. So if you see here, once again, we have the recession time periods here in this gray, and then you have the in millions number of workers, and it's seasonally adjusted people are quitting. So typically during a recession, people quitting jobs is pretty low. I mean, when things are uncertain, you don't have people quitting jobs. Currently, we have people quitting jobs at a record high to go find other jobs that are paying more. So that's what we're seeing. That's where the wage growth is really phenomenal right now that we're seeing go through there. And then what happens when wages go up? Then the people that own the businesses are charging more for, um, you know, their products, which is causing inflation. So when you have wage growth, that pressure gets put back on the business owner, which then gets passed on to the consumer. And that's what we're seeing. So, in the second half of this year, Fed rate hikes will probably bring down some flexible inflation like energy and vehicles, food, travel, lodge. But sticky inflation items like housing, medical care, education, restaurants, dining out, those things are going to take longer to really come down. So there's what we call sticky inflation and then flexible inflation. And so some of those are going to start coming down a lot sooner than others. But those are things we'll continue to talk about on the show. And I'm hoping this helping you guys kind of understand what's going on during this period. And, that's why we started the show. Hopefully next week, I hope to have all of the team here. I'm going to get them on one at a time and introduce everybody again. And hopefully everybody knows our team here. But I think it's good to kind of let y'all understand who they are, what their role is here at the office, give you a little background of them. So hopefully next week we'll have that, and that'll be a fun thing to do. So y'all have a great week. God bless, and we'll talk to you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.